Welcome to Black Hole Basics. Venus could have once been exactly like our Earth, but today it is an absolute hellscape. Astronomers often call Venus the twin of Earth because they share almost the exact same size and physical mass characteristics. When you look at them side by side in space, they appear to be two beautiful sisters orbiting the radiant sun. However, the similarities between these two rocky planets completely end the moment you dive beneath those thick and mysterious clouds. Billions of years ago, the surface of Venus might have been covered with vast oceans of liquid water and life. During that ancient era, the sun was significantly dimmer, allowing the second planet to maintain a relatively cool, stable climate. If you traveled back in time, you would perhaps see a beautiful blue world that looked incredibly familiar to humanity. Scientists believe that rivers might have flowed across the rocky terrain, carving deep valleys into the ancient and pristine landscape. But the sun gradually grew hotter over billions of years, slowly sealing the dark and tragic fate of this world. As the solar radiation steadily increased, the global temperatures began to rise, causing the planetary oceans to slowly evaporate away. Water vapor is a very powerful greenhouse gas, and its massive presence trapped even more heat inside the planetary atmosphere. This created a devastating cycle where higher temperatures caused more evaporation, which in turn caused the temperatures to rise further. Eventually, the entire ocean completely boiled away into the sky, leaving behind a dry and incredibly desolate global rocky wasteland. Without oceans to absorb the carbon dioxide, the gas began to build up rapidly and uncontrollably within the planetary atmosphere. On our Earth, the oceans and rocks safely store massive amounts of carbon dioxide, keeping our global climate perfectly balanced. But on Venus, all of that carbon dioxide was released directly into the air, creating an incredibly thick atmospheric blanket. This process is known by scientists as the runaway greenhouse effect, and it completely destroyed any chance for planetary life. Today, the atmosphere of Venus is composed almost entirely of carbon dioxide, making it a highly toxic and deadly environment. The atmospheric pressure on the surface is incredibly extreme, reaching levels that are 90 times greater than on our Earth. If you were standing on the surface right now, you would feel an immense and truly crushing weight all around. It is exactly the same amount of pressure you would experience if you dove 1 kilometer deep into our ocean. A human being would be instantly crushed by this massive force long before they could even take a single breath. Because of this extreme pressure, the carbon dioxide near the surface behaves like a supercritical fluid rather than a gas. This means the air is so incredibly thick that walking through it would feel exactly like wading through deep water. But the crushing pressure is only the first of many terrible challenges that you would face on this nightmare world. The thick blanket of carbon dioxide traps the heat of the sun so effectively that the planet continuously bakes forever. The average surface temperature reaches a staggering 465 degrees Celsius during both the day and night. This makes Venus the hottest planet in our entire solar system, even hotter than Mercury, which is closer to the sun. The heat is so intense that it would easily melt heavy metals like lead, zinc, and tin within mere seconds. If you dropped a solid block of lead onto the ground, it would instantly turn into a glowing liquid puddle. The rocks on the surface literally glow with a faint red hue because they are constantly heated to extreme temperatures. There are no seasons or temperature variations on Venus because the thick atmosphere distributes the massive heat evenly everywhere constantly. Whether you are at the equator or the poles, the temperature remains exactly the same, brutal and completely unforgiving extreme. As you look up into the sky, you would not see the beautiful blue colors that we enjoy on Earth. Instead, the sky is a sickly and dark yellowish color, completely filled with thick and highly toxic chemical cloud formations. These clouds are not made of water droplets like ours, but are composed entirely of highly corrosive sulfuric acid droplets. The sulfuric acid clouds are so incredibly dense that they block out most of the natural sunlight from reaching down. Only a dim and eerie amber light manages to filter through the thick clouds, illuminating the rocky and barren landscape. It rains sulfuric acid from these dark clouds, but the intense heat evaporates the drops before they touch the ground. This creates a bizarre phenomenon called virga, where deadly acid rain constantly falls but never actually reaches the burning surface. Above the clouds, hurricane-force winds whip around the entire planet at speeds reaching 360 kilometers hourly. These massive winds are so incredibly fast that they can carry the thick clouds completely around the planet within days. However, down on the surface, the wind actually moves incredibly slowly, traveling at only a few kilometers per single hour. But because the air is so dense, even a slow breeze carries an immense amount of physical force and momentum. A gentle breeze on Venus would feel like a powerful ocean current pushing against your body with incredible physical strength. Another strange and fascinating feature of this alien world is its highly unusual and completely backward planetary rotation in space. While almost all the other planets rotate in the same direction, Venus actually spins backward on its own planetary axis. This means that if you could somehow see through the clouds, the sun would rise in the west every morning. After rising in the west, the sun would slowly travel across the sky and eventually set in the eastern horizon. Scientists believe this backward rotation was caused by a massive cosmic collision with another large planetary body billions of years ago. The planet also rotates incredibly slowly, taking 243 Earth days to complete just one single spin. This makes a single day on Venus actually longer than its entire year, which takes only 220 days. Imagine living on a world where a single day lasts longer than the time it takes to orbit the sun. The surface of Venus is covered with massive volcanoes, many of which might still be highly active to this day. Radar images from space probes have revealed thousands of volcanic structures scattered across the vast and entirely desolate rocky plains. Some of these massive volcanoes are hundreds of kilometers wide, dominating the alien landscape with their dark and imposing presence. Rivers of glowing red lava might still flow across the surface, constantly reshaping the terrain and adding to the heat. The entire planet seems to have undergone a massive and violent volcanic resurfacing event roughly 500 million years ago. This apocalyptic event covered almost the entire world in fresh lava, erasing any old impact craters from the ancient past. Despite these incredibly harsh conditions, humanity has bravely attempted to explore this terrifying world using various robotic space probe missions. During the height of the space race, the Soviet Union launched the highly ambitious Venera program to study the planet. Sending a delicate robotic probe to the surface of Venus is one of the most difficult engineering challenges ever attempted. The engineers had to design a machine that could survive being crushed, melted, and dissolved by the extremely hostile atmosphere. Early missions ended in complete failure as the heavy probes were instantly crushed by the immense pressure high above ground. But the brilliant scientists learned from their mistakes and built stronger, heavier, and much more resilient robotic landers for Venus. In 1970, the Venera 7 probe finally became the very first human machine to successfully land on another planet. It transmitted valuable data back to Earth for only 23 minutes before it was completely destroyed by the heat. Later, Venera missions managed to capture the very first black and white photographs of the rocky and completely alien surface. These historic images revealed a desolate landscape of flat, broken rocks stretching out toward a hazy and extremely distant horizon. The cameras actually had to look through thick quartz windows just to survive the intense heat and the crushing pressure. Even the protective lens caps melted away almost instantly, proving just how incredibly hostile the environment truly was down there. The longest any probe has ever survived on the surface is just barely over 2 very short and highly stressful hours. After that short time, the internal electronics simply melted away, and the heavy metal structures collapsed under the extreme pressure. Today, the remains of those brave robotic pioneers sit silently on the surface, slowly dissolving in the highly acidic environment. They serve as a powerful monument to human curiosity and our relentless desire to understand the mysteries of the universe. While the surface is a literal hell, some scientists believe that the upper atmosphere might actually hide a massive secret. About 50 kilometers above the burning surface, the temperature and pressure are surprisingly similar to those found on our Earth. In this specific cloud layer, the temperature is roughly 30 degrees Celsius, and the atmospheric pressure is incredibly perfectly normal. Some visionary researchers have proposed building massive floating cities in this safe zone, suspended safely high above the deadly surface. These futuristic aerial habitats would float perfectly like giant balloons, riding the fast winds around the planet in complete safety. There is even a wild hypothesis that microscopic alien life might currently exist within these high and relatively cool clouds. Recent astronomical observations detected traces of a rare chemical gas called phosphine high up in the thick atmosphere of Venus. On Earth, phosphine is primarily produced by living microbes, leading some to wonder if alien bacteria float in those clouds. While this exciting discovery is still heavily debated, it proves that Venus still holds many incredible secrets waiting for discovery. Future space missions are currently being planned by multiple global space agencies to return to this fascinating and mysterious world. Advanced radar satellites will map the volcanic surface in unprecedented detail, searching for any signs of currently active lava flows. New robotic atmospheric probes will dive deep into the toxic clouds to carefully analyze their complex and highly unusual chemistry. We might finally learn the absolute truth about whether this hellish planet ever truly supported vast oceans of liquid water. Studying Venus is absolutely crucial because it teaches us a terrifying lesson about the delicate balance of our own climate. It shows us exactly what can happen when a planetary greenhouse effect spirals completely out of control into absolute disaster. Earth and Venus started their cosmic journeys with the exact same ingredients, but their final destinies could not be more different. One became a beautiful paradise filled with abundant life, while the other transformed into a toxic and completely dead wasteland. By understanding the tragic history of Venus, we can better appreciate and fiercely protect the fragile environment of our Earth. We must never take our beautiful blue oceans and our incredibly stable global climate for granted in this vast universe. The dark and twisted fate of our planetary twin serves as a grim warning about the incredible power of nature. As we continue to gaze up at the bright morning star, we now know the terrifying truth hidden beneath it. That beautiful shining light in the night sky is actually a reflection bouncing off a thick layer of deadly acid. It is a profound cosmic irony that the planet named after the goddess of beauty is actually a terrifying hell. Let us take a moment to imagine the massive scale of the extreme forces constantly at work on that world. The crushing weight of the sky, the melting heat of the ground, and the toxic rain falling from above continuously. It is an environment so completely hostile that it challenges our very understanding of planetary physics and complex atmospheric dynamics. Yet, despite all of its terrifying and deadly characteristics, Venus remains an incredibly beautiful and mesmerizing object in our sky. It has inspired countless generations of poets, artists, and ancient astronomers who watched it brightly shining in the early dawn. The ancient Romans believed it was a divine symbol of love, completely unaware of the absolute nightmare raging down below. Today, modern science has finally stripped away the beautiful illusion, revealing the harsh and completely unforgiving reality of this planet. The story of Venus is a dramatic tale of cosmic evolution, showing how drastically a planetary environment can actually change. It reminds us that the universe is a highly dynamic and sometimes incredibly dangerous place for any form of life. Our small blue planet is a rare and precious oasis, floating in a vast, dark, and mostly very hostile void. The more we learn about our neighboring planets, the more we realize just how incredibly lucky we are to exist. Every single drop of water and every breath of fresh air on Earth is a miraculous gift of cosmic probability. We are the fortunate survivors in a solar system where things can easily go completely and utterly wrong without warning. The next time you see Venus shining brightly in the evening sky, remember the incredible and terrifying secrets it hides. Think about the massive pressure, the melting heat, and the tragic loss of ancient oceans that might have harbored life. Think about the brave robotic machines that sacrifice themselves just to send us a few precious pictures of that hell. And most importantly, think about our own beautiful Earth, and the absolute necessity of keeping our climate stable and safe. The exploration of space is not just about discovering new worlds, but also about truly understanding our own fragile home. Venus stands as a permanent and glowing monument to the immense and terrifying power of the runaway greenhouse climate effect. It is a global laboratory where the absolute worst-case scenario of climate change has already played out to completion. We have the unique intelligence and the advanced technology to ensure our world never suffers this exact same tragic fate. Humanity must choose to be the wise caretakers of Earth, protecting it from the dangerous extremes of global climate shifts. Our survival depends entirely on our ability to learn from the universe and adapt our actions to preserve our home. The mysteries of Venus will continue to challenge and inspire brilliant scientists for many more decades and centuries to come. We will keep sending our advanced machines into the dark clouds, searching for new data, and perhaps even microscopic life. Every new mission brings us one step closer to fully understanding the complex and dramatic history of our solar system. The journey of discovery is an endless pursuit of knowledge that elevates humanity and expands our vision of the cosmos. As we look toward the future, the lessons learned from our twisted twin will guide our steps into the stars. We will carry the profound knowledge of Venus with us as we explore even further into the deep, unknown galaxy. The universe is filled with infinite wonders and terrifying dangers, all waiting patiently for us to discover and understand them. Our destiny is to be the brave explorers of this cosmic ocean, seeking truth among the bright and distant stars. Thank you for joining us on this incredible and deeply fascinating journey through the dark and terrifying history of Venus. We hope this detailed exploration has given you a brand new perspective on our solar system and our own Earth. The cosmos is vast and full of incredible stories, and we are absolutely thrilled to share all of them together. If you enjoyed this cosmic adventure, please remember to support our channel by sharing this video with all your friends. Stay curious, keep looking up at the beautiful night sky, and never stop wondering about the great mysteries of space. This has been Black Hole Basics, and we will see you again in the next exciting and educational space adventure.